talk about tunnel infrastructure and how it can change the world.
Remote. Do you have the remote? Quicker.
Oh, yes.
Hey, everybody. Troy Helming here. Anybody like science fiction? I'm going to be talking about science fiction coming to life, and my goal here is also to give a little bit of hope. There's a lot of negative stuff happening in the world right now, and I want to show that there is hope for the future. The top one, maybe this one. Yep, here we go. All right, so EarthGrid, it's a tunneling company. Why are tunnels important? I'll get to that in a minute. So our vision is to upgrade infrastructure around the world. I fancy myself as a clean energy industrialist. I've been building solar farms and wind farms for 30 years, built some huge companies, including a Deca unicorn. I started Trade Wind Energy in 1996, which became the largest wind energy developer in the United States. It's now a $35 billion division of Enel Green Power. I also built a large solar company. So I have a trivia question. The biggest impediment to the growth of renewables is lack of transmission lines. Who here wants to guess? How long does it take to permit and build a new transmission line in either the US or Europe? The answer is the same in both continents. 2 years. 5 years. 15. The answer is 15. 10 to 15 years is the average. And we can't wait. The electrification of everything is happening. Vehicles and heating, the need for data centers, AI needs a lot of electricity. Anyway, so that's my background. I'm also an elite athlete. I've competed on American Ninja Warrior 4 times, rock climber, stuff like that. So I stay in good shape. EarthGrid's won almost every, I'm going to go fast now, almost every competition we've entered, we've won, including the very prestigious Startup World Cup by Pegasus Tech Ventures. Thousands of companies applied. We won that whole thing. The problem is the grid. I'm going to skip this, but infrastructure grade is C- in the US. We need to massively increase our infrastructure, and that's happening globally. The European grid is about 50% underground, actually 50 to 80% underground. Most people don't realize that the US grid is 8 to 20% underground. Sometimes it feels like we live in a third world country every time there's a storm, a hurricane, an ice storm, a squirrel, a traffic accident. 80%, this is why I started the company. Entrepreneurs start companies to solve problems we face, right? I had so many solar farms and wind farms that we had to abandon. And this is normal. 80% of solar and wind projects never get built because of lack of transmission and our antiquated grid. It's a huge problem. Overhead lines are causing fires. The biggest fire in Texas 2 years ago. Most of the fires in California, Canada, and Colorado are being caused by overhead power lines. It's crazy, right? Literally killing people. Underground lines are 9 times more reliable. And that's according to US utility data, but historically 7 to 20 times more expensive, which is why we're not doing it. I'll skip this. Why now? There's huge. All right, so 8 years ago, I invented a plasma tunnel boring robot. Think of them like lightsabers, because that's basically what they are. That tube you see there, we pass air at sonic speeds through that tube, and it passes over lightning, an electric arc. And it superheats the air to 27,000 degrees Celsius. And that turns the rock, as you see on the right, into sand and gravel. So we're using air, which is free, and electricity, which is cheap thanks to the proliferation of wind and solar, right? The use case, we have 2 products. We're not going to sell our machine. Our products are Badass and Boom. We have a sense of humor. Badass stands for boring and drilling as a simple service. Boom, build, own, operate, and maintain. So on the left, it's our construction model. And on the right, it's our utility model. So think of us like underground real estate company. We develop underground real estate, we own it, and we lease space for decades. These tunnels are designed to last for a century. Or we charge a toll on all the commodities flowing through the tunnel. So pretty exciting business model. So advantages, we're up to 10 times cheaper, up to 100 times faster than conventional tunneling. Yes, Elon Musk's company, the Boring Company, is doing some tunneling. They reached out to us. They wanted a proposal. We've given them 3 proposals because they have no solution for hard rock. We can go through anything, including granite, gray whack. We can bore it up to 1 kilometer per day. Typical is 10 to 30 meters in a day. Pretty exciting stuff. We've got all kinds of patents. Our IP was recently valued at about 200 million. So multiple utilities. Here's a little test tunnel. We did that with 1 torch in 30 hours. We now have 8 torches and ordering about 20 more. I'm going to go fast. One of our many patents, we don't have to be a circle. We can make a keyhole shape. So there's more usable space for racks, for human transportation, for freight, for logistics, cross-border, whatever. Customers, a lot of those. This is pretty exciting. You can look this up, but last fall we announced, after 20 months of negotiation with Enertech, which is part of the Kuwait Investment Authority, the world's oldest sovereign wealth fund and one of the largest, 2 to 4 trillion of AUM, we closed an $18 billion joint venture with them. They're funding 24,000 kilometers of tunnels to create a super grid in North America and connect North America to Europe with a tunnel under the Atlantic Ocean. Pretty crazy, right? We can move 100% clean energy across 14 time zones. 5 minutes left, all right. And it'll have power, fiber, and freight. So imagine being able to ship stuff under the Atlantic and get it there in about 2 hours with really fast electric powered, in a tube, 1 meter tubes. So excited about that. That's kind of the map of the supergrid that we're developing. We have the first 6 projects are kind of underway. Here's the map of getting to Europe. The first one will be the kind of zigzaggy one that'll hug the coast of Greenland. And I've stood on a lot of boards. I'm still involved in solar and wind. We're powering our machine. It needs about, the small one, 1 megawatt, about the big one, about 6 megawatts. We're going to tow a floating wind farm, or a wind turbine rather, a 10 megawatt wind turbine. We've commissioned one to be towed to the remote coasts of Canada here, and then over to Greenland. We'll have 2 of them, and the tunnels will bore under the Atlantic Ocean like a kilometer deep below the seafloor, so Russia and China can't blow it up. You might be asking, how in the world can you get permission to put all these tunnels in? So I've been in infrastructure for 30 years, right? Developing very difficult projects. I used to get death threats when I started my wind farm company. My picture was on the dartboard of coal utilities in the Midwest. So I've got the scar tissue for this. But I knew that, that the permitting would be the biggest challenge. So EarthGrid has been approved as a utility in 46 states. We're a telecommunications utility. Why is that important? As a utility, we get guaranteed access under the public roads. We can't go under somebody's house without their permission, but any public roadway, state, county, or city road, we can get permission because we're a utility. AT&T has been doing this for decades, right? So that shortens the time frame. That 15 years for an overhead transmission line to power our data centers and our factories, if we go underground, we can do it in 15 months because of this. Pretty exciting. Amazing team, board, some of the executives, incredible advisors. I'm running short on time. So I funded the first $13 million of the company. I bootstrapped it for the first 5 years. We've raised a total of $63 million. Every round has been oversubscribed. We're not raising right now, but we probably will a little bit later. We're working with Bank of America as our investment bankers, and they want to take us public in 2028, most likely, maybe 27. That's kind of the timeline there. And that's it. So tunnels can change the world. Thank you, everybody.